All right, we need to talk a little bit about escape characters. Now, normally when we're trying to print out a string, that's not a big deal. We can just put exactly what we want in the string, and it's going to print exactly the way that we want it. And so, like this first one, I put in exactly what I want pops out. But over here, you'll notice I've used backslash T. Now be careful, there's a difference between the backslash and the forward slash. The backslash lives above the return key. Now, backslash T, this backslash says that whatever comes next is not normal. Okay, you need to take a special look at it. So backslash T is a tab. So you'll notice I put 3 tabs here. 1, 2, 3 tabs. Um, and that's what backslash T did. Similarly, backslash N creates a new line. So when I say hello, backslash N, world, it's hello, a new line, and then world. And you might say, well, why don't you just make a new line? Well, let's say that we were wanting to store some text as a variable, and I wanted to put those new lines inside the variable. Well, I can't do that by making an going to the next line. So what I do instead is I put the new line inside the text that I'm going to put in the variable. So when I print out my message, it's already got the new lines built in. Okay. Um, Also, an important thing with escape characters is sometimes you want quotes inside your text. Like, look at this right here. Okay, I'm wanting to print out a quote from Rene Descartes here. But the problem is, what happens if I just put an extra quote in there? So I've got my quotes, and I put an extra quote in there. Well, it thinks I'm closing the text. It thinks I'm ending the string there. So what I do instead is I put in backslash quote, another backslash quote. Okay. Um, Now, there is another way to get around this if you want. You can also, instead of enclosing it in double quotes, you can go with single, and then it will know that you're not trying to close anything um, because you're opening and closing with singles instead of doubles. Um, Similarly, if you need an apostrophe and you're using single quotes, it's going to think that you're closing the. It thinks you're trying to close the string, so we can do backslash single quote, okay, or backslash apostrophe, however you want to think of it. Um, Now, again, the other way of fixing this is we could use double quotes. Um, and then that ambiguity goes away. It knows that we're not trying to close the string out. Um, Also, this is pretty rare, but if you want to do, if you actually want a backslash to be in your string, you need to put backslash backslash. Otherwise, it thinks you're trying to do some other sort of escape character. Okay. Um, the last thing I want to show you is Unicode. Now, we're going to go into this a lot more later, but Unicode is basically numbers that are associated with a certain character. So, whenever you press a key on a keyboard, basically it sends a number to the computer. Okay. Um, it says, hey, um, grab this the character that's associated with this number, because remember, everything in a computer has to be stored as a number. Okay, so if you want, you can go to a Unicode table and you can look up different um, different symbols, and the Unicode symbol involved there. But you do \u and then the 4-digit hexadecimal number. So here, when I do that, I get this E with the accent on it. So that gives me that symbol. Now, if you look at Unicode a little further, you're going to find that this is also where emojis live. Unfortunately, those are 5-digit Unicode, which is not supported by Python, but it's the same code. So again, the same concept is true. Whenever you send someone an emoji, um, you're not actually sending them a picture. You're sending them this little number. And this number gets looked up in this library of images, which is why if you send someone an emoji, it'll look different on Android and iOS and Mac and Facebook because they're all using a slightly different library of pictures to be associated with a certain Unicode character. So that makes it really easy to send emojis because it's not sending a lot of data, it's just sending a few numbers instead of having to send a whole picture. So that's escape characters. They don't come up all the time, but it comes up enough that this is something you need to be familiar with. All right.